Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Monday Market Report, this time for the week ending September 5th, 2021. I want to thank you guys for joining in on this video as we embark on some of the most relevant sales of post-1900 modern graded coins that have sold here in the last 7 days. This week, all listings courtesy of Great Collections. We're going to go ahead and breeze through the 16, 17 coins that we have on showcase for you. Real quick though, if this is your first time here, if you like and enjoy today's content, feel free to hit the like button. Go ahead and share and or subscribe. If you haven't done so already, we talk coin collecting. We talk about coin finance, numismatics all around, new releases from the mint. You name it. So if this sounds like some exciting information for you and you want to get to know more about me and what I do, please join in the fold. The Blue Ridge Silverhound family would certainly look forward to having you join in as well. Keep in mind, the content's free. Sure, there's a few ads in there, but aside from that, we don't have any Patreon accounts or anything like that. You don't have to pay a subscription to be a part of the channel. All this free information, lots of great advice. So for those of you that are new to the Monday Market Report, okay, so this is a great kind of like temperature check on the market. All right, how are we performing these days? All we can say is that the carryover effect from the burgeoning market during the pandemic obviously has continued on through the summer, and then here we are a few short weeks away from the official fall kind of like starting point. Some would say that Labor Day today, most of you are probably going to be watching this Sunday night as opposed to Monday, but usually Labor Day weekend is kind of that starting line for a lot of coins to come into the marketplace. Although I'm kind of feeling like that maybe the market might be in a little bit short supply, only because we've had an overperforming summertime. So we did see quite a bit of inventory hit the market during these last 3 months. And it seems to me that the market is still very strong out there, stronger than some of the other asset classes like sports cards and all that. But yeah, I'm noticing that inventories for especially the higher end top population coins through PCGS and NGC are a little bit scarce. All right. Especially on the much newer coins post 1950s. So a lot of the coins that you see on this list today, there's going to be quite a few 1920s, 1930s, and 40s. Okay, and that's fine. That's all within the realm of the coins that's still findable out there, especially in raw condition. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into these listings. Again, all images courtesy of Great Collections. If you need to know more, you're looking for that marquee coin to add to your collection, go ahead and check out probably the best numismatics coin hosting or auction site rather, and that's greatcollections.com. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the first listing. I will let you guys know whether a coin is suitable for a collection or if these are more geared toward what we call the registry set crowd. Registry sets are just simply compilations of some of the highest graded coins being assembled for a series, in this case like Lincoln cents. You try and find the highest grade of every single coin. They go into a registry and they are added in there on the PCGS or NGC website. It's a points-based system. I like to tell folks that it's more bragging rights than anything else. You do get a few coin vouchers for future submissions, things like that. Relatively minor type of rewards, but it's something that a lot of people like to do in spite of just the weak reward system on there. So we have 53S, and boy, this thing is a high graded specimen. Mint State 68 full red. Beautiful, very clean, very satiny surfaces. The luster is second to none, and you'd be hard-pressed to find any other example that looks quite like this. No doubt about it, because of just how many of these were minted and just the grade, this is an obvious no-brainer registry set coin all day long. And that's really the only reason why that you would buy something like this. And obviously, if you're trying to take advantage of the hot registry set market, or thereof. Obviously that these are going to be coins that you want to aim for. People go through BU rolls and bags all the time to look for premier specimens like this. So this one right here sold for a pretty wicked amount of money, actually. $3,768.75 is nothing to sneeze at. This is just a simply insane, incredible coin that will end up being in a high-end registry set one day. All right, and then so is this one right here. Now, this is the subject of our kind of thumbnail that I had put up. Yes, well over 190 million pieces of the 1917 Lincoln was made. I would say it's probably the first date during the teens where we saw a 9-figure mintage, which is just insane. However, this particular example happened to sell for $14,625. Now let's go ahead and recap the stats, and then you'll see exactly why this one sold for the amount of money it did. It's a PCGS Gold Shield Mint State 67 Plus full red example. If that wasn't enough, it's also got a CAC certified backing on there. So that's another company that backs the grading. They've looked at the coin already in the holder, and then they've given their kind of like thumbs up on this one, and that's what the green sticker is on there. And that's the primary reason why that this one sold for the amount of money it did. However, I would look at a coin like this, and because it's incredibly scarce in the highest grades, and good luck, by the way, trying to find one that's not graded at all. Either it's going to have problems, or there's going to be other different types of circulation issues that we're not all aware of when we find these in a dealer case. But this is a tough coin that was not widely hoarded during a time in which coins circulated a great deal. $14,625 again is what that one sold for. But of course, when we're going to talk about one of the penultimate key dates in the series, 1914D is definitely high on that list. So here is what I call like a very middle-of-the-road graded coin. It's very suitable. Don't let the grade fool you. This one is actually a lot tougher than it looks, only because this is a very low mintage year. But what we have is a PCGS Mint State 64, and it's a red-brown patinaed coin, all right, which looks every bit the part of a red-brown. This one sold for $4,950. And if you were looking for an example for your collection, or for a modest registry set, or maybe as a investor piece into a high-end portfolio, this one is definitely one that'll work for that. 1910S, again, we're continuing on with a few very, very nice, if not scarce, high-graded coins. 1910S, again, is a somewhat semi-key date, lower than expected mintage, not quite 1911S, but, this one is very respectable in terms of teens. This one, however, is a Mint State 67 red, and it's a beaut. I mean, it's nothing like the 53S that we saw before it, but because we are talking about a period of over 40 years of just manufacturing and just improvements along the way, by the time it gets to the 50s, the strikes are quite nice. The planchets used were exceptional, so there is the big difference there. This one right here sold for $13,501.12. Worth every penny, and more than likely this is an investor piece. Collectors will want to flock to a piece like this as well, as the populations are incredibly tight toward the top. And then finally, we have a 1909S. However, this is not a VDB reverse. Okay, as you guys know, the much more scarcer type of this date and mint mark will have VDB right here at the bottom of the reverse. So that's 6 o'clock position. It used to be that the VDB reverse was something that was not well received, and people are actually offended that the artist Victor David Brenner was able to put their initials in such big letters on the reverse that ultimately the U.S. Mint had decided, well, we can't certainly have that. So this was kind of like a changeover date, and there were a number of them, actually a greater quantity of a 1909S that did not have the VDB reverse initials. This one is a Mid-State 65 full red, beautiful coin, PCGS graded, and I would be incredibly happy to own a piece like this. You know, you could either opt for, you know, maybe like a VF35 or a XF4009 SVDB, or you could go above and beyond and get something that will stand the test of time, and that's what this coin is right here. This one sounds like a bargain at $1,463.62. We do have a few nickels on the list. Now, I don't talk about mid-70s, like perfect graded nickels all that often, but we're just going to go ahead and kind of do a quick little review of what these coins are commanding on the secondary market. We have a rather common date, 1976S. Now, I use the term common loosely because proof strikes of any date during the 60s, 70s, and 80s are a lot lower than what their business strike types are. But this is a 76S. You know, you're going to get to the mid-70s where the strikes and the cameo are just exceptional. This is a period in the U.S. mint manufacturing where things really began to go right. In this particular case, this is a PCGS Proof 70 Deep Cameo. That's about as high and perfect as you can get on this coin. So with that being said, it sold for $524.24, which seems like a screaming bargain for a perfect graded coin, Deep Cameo. I mean, it's got the frost and the mirrored black fields to back it up. But, you know, just for curiosity, this is how much some of these mid to late 70s Proof 70s sell for. So keep that in mind if you decide, you know what, I'm going to try and cherry pick some of these coins proof sets. Just make sure that you find one that is nearly flawless. All right, so there you go. We didn't have other Jefferson nickels to talk about. Nickels were quite light this week, but we do have a 1937D. This is a three-legged variety type. I like this one, and I know these things sell quite often. They're not particularly rare, but they are still a collector favorite. But this is a great example to help illustrate some of the key diagnostics that you need to look out for to know if you have a legitimate coin, all right? So on this particular example, and this is kind of like par for the course for the 37D, you're going to see a lot of die deterioration, and that's where you're going to see a lot of these flow lines just from the strike. They're kind of coming in inwards all over the place. On the reverse, it's the same as well. But as you can see, this foreleg of the buffalo is completely missing, and that's what you're looking for. But one of the things that I like on the coin that kind of like puts a fingerprint on this variety, because most counterfeiters generally forget to, you know, add this in there, but these have the pebbly kind of like crescent moon shaped pattern right here under Black Diamond's belly, along with this weak back leg. All right, so those are a few things to look out for. In terms of grade, this is a Mid-State 62. All right, this is generally a very well received and very acceptable grade on the secondary market. Incredibly desirable in grades above like XF40 because the diagnostics are just so strong. This particular coin sold for $2,833.74. Much higher graded examples will command anywhere from 2 to 10 times that amount of money because it is such a popular variety. Here's a 1925, a rather plain looking coin. It's a Philadelphia struck example. Okay, it's you know, it is what it is. But finding one that is in much higher condition, especially in a Mid-State 67 like this one is a little bit of a challenge. These coins were what we call workhorse coins during its day. The country was mired in a Great Depression. People were not saving rolls and bags of mint-state material during this time. A lot of the coins were indeed spent. Therefore, there were a lot of circulated examples. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of junk coins of the 1920s that are out there at coin shops and dealer cases. In this particular case, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with a Mid-State 67. That's a huge bomb of a grade, but not the highest for this particular date. This one sold for $4,725. On to some dimes, and here is quite a scarce variety, and it's a 1945S Mercury dime. Now, this particular example is a well-known RPM, and if you're lucky enough to find any of these in just about any grade, I think anything above like a VF30 is going to be sought after, for Mercury dime enthusiasts that like the varieties. This is definitely one to look out for. It's the S over horizontal S variety. Sorry, I don't have any close-ups of this mint mark, but if you needed more information, you can always go onto a site like doubleddie.com, and this will be on there along with some close-up images. This one is the FS503 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. It's a very nice, very rare RPM type. So anything like a mint mark over a horizontal type of mint mark. Let's see what else. The 61D Lincoln is another great example of this. This one right here is sold for $2,025. But check out that grade, PCGS AU55. That's a circulated grade right there. So again, that just goes to show you that the staying power of this variety and just the overall value across all different grades is going to be pretty nice. This is a great cherry pick, and if you're able to find one of these in either your scrap silver or at a coin show, more than likely you're going to hit a home run. Here's a 1929, just a beautiful high-end blast white specimen. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 67. It does have full split bands. You can just see the nice, heavy, deep strike on the reverse. Such a beautiful coin, and the surfaces couldn't be any better on this one. It's also CAC green beaned as well, so it's got that extra kind of like added benefit of the grade being legitimate in this case. This one sold for $2,587.50. All right, so we got a number of quarters. Quarters are actually quite deep this week, and then we do have one $50. Okay, so you want to stay tuned for that. That's actually quite a nice one. But, if you're a fan of toning and you like originality, then this is the one for you. Now, the date will throw you off a little bit. It's a 1961. In terms of just mintage, it's quite common. Many tens of millions of these were produced. They're not particularly scarce. But I think all of the toning, especially on the reverse, which is quite stunning, along with the toning on the obverse, and you could take it for what it is. It's a Mint State 67 Plus through NGC. And that's an incredibly tough grade for this coin. And because of that, it was actually a coin that sold for a nice chunk of money, $2,368.12. This is more than likely a registry set coin. And the same can be said for this 1954. This is just a Philadelphia coin as well as the 61 that we saw previous to it. But again, it has that kind of original toning that's built up, over the course of the last like 4 or 5 decades. Depending on where it was stored at, the environment will, tone these coins quite vividly. This one is a Mint State 68, which can only mean one thing. The surface is absolutely devoid of any sort of nicks, scratches, planchet marks. I mean, this thing was probably a very early deep strike from a fresh set of dies. NGC graded, nonetheless. And this one sold for $3,189.38. That's a beautiful amount of money. All right, now this is a 1938. It is a little bit tougher of a date, don't get me wrong, but still 38 Philadelphia is a pretty populous date of coin. If you needed just a regular mint state example in any mint state type of grade, they can be found for under $50, and they get tougher when they get into the 30s, and this is one of them right here. It's a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus, and it is a registry set coin. It is what it is, and this one right here is sold for $1,409.62. Here's the 32S. Some would say that this is the key date of the Washington Quarter series. Okay, between this and the 32D, they kind of go hand in hand. They're like, they are one and the same in terms of like Mintage, they're very close, and the rarity factor in mid state grades cannot be understated. This one is beautiful. It's got some original skin on there. The toning, while not particularly attractive, does kind of hold this one to its originality status. It's a mid-state 65 plus. Very desirable. More than likely it's going to be like a registry set, but I could see this coin also being a collector coin or part of a type set. So it does serve a few dual purposes, but the grade is what's going to carry this and the value over for a long period of time. This one sold for $4,838.62. We do have a few earlier dated obsolete quarters. First, a 1927S, just a very tough standing Liberty quarter. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of the toning, but this is kind of like the deepest, most terminal toning that you can find while still being able to grade out at an acceptable level. Okay, in this case, it's a PCGS AU58, so that's about uncirculated. It's also CAC green bean as well. So again, it's one of those perennial tougher mid-20s keys that just don't show up in very good grades. 26S is another huge one. That one is incredibly tough. However, this one right here sold for $4,786.88. This is more a coin out of need and necessity than it is a registry set. Although I could see this going into a registry set, there are more people that are actually kind of like armchair collectors of these sort of things that'll pick this up only because they don't show up that often. And the final quarter for the week is going to be this beautifully stunning 19010. New Orleans. I don't talk about Barber coinage that often, but when one comes up that is most notable, it certainly does deserve our respect and attention. This one right here is just a stunning PCGS Mid-State 64. Outside of proof coinage for the Barber series, this is about as gorgeous as you could get. This one sold for $4,612.50. I was actually quite happy to be able to talk about this one for you today. But, I'll be honest, there's not a huge group of supporters for the Barber coinage. All right, it's kind of hit or miss. Most people definitely do favor the Standing Liberty quarter design than they do this one. Me personally, I like all the older stuff, this one included. The Barber series of coinage was definitely a very workhorse-intensive coin. You just don't see a lot of them in mid-state condition, but I'm glad this one is a true survivor. And then finally, a coin that can be obtained in a $30 proof set. It was undoubtedly the final date of what I like to consider to be the most plentiful dates of proof sets. 56 can still be obtained for about $30 to $35, but be sure to be on the lookout for some deep cameo and cameo coins in these sets, whether it's the Lincoln cent, the Jefferson nickel, the Roosevelt dime, the quarter, or the half dollar. It doesn't matter which one you find. If it's got the beautiful white frosted devices offset by the black, watery, drippy, mirrored fields, you got quite a stunner on your hands. Now, in terms of popularity in the marketplace, Franklin half dollars has a huge following. And for the proof examples, people want cameo and deep cameo coins. This one, however, is just a cameo example. Okay, so you do have some cameo weakness here in the hair areas of Mr. Franklin. But it is a proof 68 plus, which is not a typical grade to find, even with just cameo. But it's a CAC certified coin as well, and this thing has all the beef in it. This one sold for $4,725. Just a beautiful stunner. And if you were looking to do a little bit of grade and flip, like I said, these more available 1950s proof sets have always been some pretty good collector fodder for years. I've been pitching that for at least the last 10 years on my YouTube channel, and I continue it on to this day. Just a fantastic just very short set of years from 56 to 59. Make sure you're looking at every single one of these. And that's going to go ahead and do it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you're catching this on your Monday morning, happy Labor Day, by the way. I'm pretty sure 95% of you will not be at the workplace today, but when you go back on Tuesday, don't work so hard. You guys have a short week, and yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. All the extra support will help go a long way in providing more better quality content in the future. Again, I am Sean. Thank you for all your views and support, but that's going to go ahead and do it. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. Now, before I jump off, keep in mind, even though it's Labor Day tomorrow, we will still have our live coin Q&A show on that channel. I will be there in attendance along with my panel mates. We're going to talk coins. In addition, we're going to talk about the 1969S doubled die obverse Lincoln cent that was found by one of our viewers. He got the coin graded. We are going to reveal the grade live on that channel. In addition, because it is our end of summer education book giveaway, we are going to cap it off huge. And when I mean huge, we're going to be giving away a fresh copy of the 7th edition of the Whitman Mega Red Price Guide book. This thing is 1,000 pages plus deep. It's a beautiful book, and you guys are going to want to check in so that way you can get into the action and try and win yourself one of the best books in the coin market. But that's going to go ahead and do it. Sorry to talk your ears off. You guys take care. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you on the next coin video. So long.